And hello there, this is going to be a Satisfactory video on Hypertube Cannons. This is going to be the longer version with more info on how to build them, the spacing, the mechanics, and everything else related to these Hypertubes and traveling fast across your map and stuff like that. So there's going to be a lot of information going through there, and most of it is basically irrelevant if you know what you're doing already on Hypertubes. And if you want the short version, I have a short version on just how to build the Hypertubes and have them working, and you can just follow that and get that done right away. But this one here is going to be more on the mechanical side of it and the different things, different things with the spacing and things like that right there. So this example right here is a nice long 15 tube cannon right here to go speeding across to the other side of the map. So we can check that out right now. This is spacing them all together. So when you're building these Hypertube cannons, the basic, fundamental part is to have two of these stuck together like so. You go to the tube and you just click in the middle here like this. You just click like that, and then you delete that one right there, and then you got this little part of the tube right here you can barely see, and then you go ahead and you stick an entrance on there, and you power it up, and there's your first little tube, and this will shoot you out a little bit distance. And these things keep stacking together. So this kind of build right here is just keep stacking them all together like closely like this. This is, it saves them a lot of space, because you're building big cannons like this. It's going to be it's going to take a lot of space, and if you have to space them out, it's going to be take a lot of room and stuff like that, and a little bit more time to organize it and stuff like that. So let's delete this stuff right here for now. We don't need it. But yeah, so going like this, it's a nice compact design. If you're going to go you want to go super fast like I do, I don't want to waste my time traveling, you want to do something like this, but this won't work all together. And the whole other fundamental of this right here is go to your options right here, and I think it's on their video. I'm sorry, I haven't actually this right here, and go over to your FPS right here, your max FPS, and set that down to 30 if you want these things to work properly, or set it to 60. This is going to be the variable factor right here. If you have this option, not capped and like infinite or whatever, you got an awesome computer, you think it doesn't matter. It does matter for these Hypertubes, because when you're going through them, the speed you get kicked out and you get sucked in the next one, it can be unstable, because you're going faster and then faster, then faster and faster, and the speed you come into these Hypertubes affects the speed going out of the next one, and then that one here will just boost your speed up. So these are all speed boosters in effect, and if you don't have a stable FPS, you're going to have some this game it's going to cause some tearing and skipping going on there. So you're going to pass through some of these other things right here, and they're not going to register as actually hitting the Hypertube. If they're so close together like this, they might not matter. And the thing is, it does matter on which direction you're going in this game. So right now, this one here is heading north, and that is where you basically start. So if you start on the map, right down here is the basic starting area, is over here. This is where all the cool resources are. At the start, they're all weak, but you have, the good resources down there. You got some coal in here hiding down there somewhere, and stuff like that for the down here. So you're way down in the south in the map is where the basic starting area is. And you're going to go north, because you're going to need to get oil and stuff like that. You want to go way over here to get oil for your next step, and that's all the way across the map, and you're going to make a huge Hypertube system just to get all the way across to the other side. And that's Hypertubes are really slow if it's just one entrance, and then you have to travel that far. And going north, the speed actually matters for some reason, and I don't know why it shouldn't. And probably the same thing with going left and right. So this will, this is the basic build right here, and that doesn't work all the time. So let's go there and test it out there and take a look at how fast we're going right here, and then we can zoom on there. So yeah, this is how fast you really want to go to get to the other side of your map type of thing. You don't want to waste your time. It's nice and fun. It takes a lot of power, and as you see, let's note right there. So first thing we want to note is when you're doing your Hypertubes, make extra space on the last part of it, or the exit part of it right here, so you have a place to fall down. So if it's a tight system like I had over there, you might have noticed a little space at the end there. You need that space, or you're going to get stuck in between your Hypertubes, and you're not going to be able to get out, because this is where you're going to exit. You're not going to exit way over there, which you want to. You want to exit over there, but you can't. You can't go backwards this way. As soon as this opens up, that's the exit up there. And the autosave is kind of slow and laggy, and I probably should turn it off for videos. But yeah, let's go in there. So you see these Hypertubes and why I have them stacked right here. The first test was, put them Hypertube right on top of each other, because you already have everything built, and you don't want to do it, and you want to turn off to some other side and things like that, and go to different locations and stuff like that. But you don't want to stack these Hypertubes right exactly on top of each other. If you stack these Hypertubes right on top of each other and make another line right above it, that actually slows you down. I don't know why it would slow you down, but I guess, the way your character is, like, for third-person views and stuff like that, or whatever it is, whatever it is, that's what the effect. So if you have a hypertube right above another hypertube tunnel, it's going to slow you down and really affect your speed a lot. Even having two above, it will affect your speed, but not so much. It's not really noticeable. There is not much of a noticeable effect if you have an extra space in there. So that's why you leave a gap space going on there, or just build one off to the side and build another whole different thing if you're worried about speed for long distance traveling from your main hub type of a deal. Let's go over here and check out the spacing right here. This is a sloppy spacing, and as you can see, it's 2 spaces wide going this way, because I fixed it. Well, I fixed it sloppily. It was a tight little system like this, but as I said, going south, it doesn't work properly. So let's go south and go back to the other hub right there and show you the different thing. This thing's a little bit slower. I don't think I have the 15 over there or something like that, but yeah, I didn't do that properly. So yeah, this is okay speed. It's going a little bit slower because of that above me, but not too much. It's not what to worry about. And when you're exiting, you notice I'm ducking, because if you're not ducking, you can sometimes get sucked back in. You'll get stuck on the ladder and go up a little bit, and then they'll suck you back down the tube, and that's a long trip if you're not going fast. So just make sure you're ducking when you're going on for when you're building your hypertubes. And as you can see, I have batteries right here too. Before we go back and I show you the example of going the slow way, the battery system right here with the switches. You can do it with just a basic switch and turn it on and off, and do that, but adding a battery and then connecting your power from your switch to your battery, and then you can charge the battery up, and then once it's charged to your content or whatever, you just want to do it a little bit. Unfortunately, it doesn't work if you're traveling into a hub area like this and you want to go from here to there and your battery's not charged and empty, and you hook it up to the power. You're not going to have a long enough charge to actually run a Hypertube cannon right away. The switching system doesn't really work very good. There's no time delay in your switches, which would be nice, but there's not. So you basically charge your battery. It's going to end up being full. You disconnect it from your power grid, and then you can run the Hypertube off of your battery basically solo, and then you're not going to drain your whole power grid. And if you're running multiple Hypertube systems like this, it's probably something you want to do, is have it so your switch is turned off or disconnected, your battery is not connected to your switch and stuff like that until you're actually going to use it, and then it will just drain your battery and then not drain your whole power grid, and then it'll turn off, and then coming back is not a problem. So you don't have to worry about that on your way back. It'll still work. So let's go over there. And that's just a recommendation for your power supply needs at the start of the game. Later on, if you build a whole bunch of power supplies, you're not going to have to worry about it. But right over here, this is a 16 power thing there, because I guess I did my math wrong when I was building it. I wanted at 15, but yeah, 16 all the way down to the end here. And then this is the tight version. So this is the one you skipped out the middle one there. This is tight. Let's check out the speed on that right there. This is the common mistake going south, and we can show you the example here. And as you can see, you didn't hear 15 clicks going in there, did you? Or 16 clicks, and we're not going like super fast like we did before. All these little bumps can be annoying. You can go around, by the way, and delete all of these intersections right here and the things. So your Hypertube is just like mid-air tube going around there. It doesn't really matter. Like some people say, it actually matters for your speed, but deleting them or not, it's not much of a difference. It's just the bumping effects. Feels like you're slowed down, because I was doing that with the testing over here on these cannon parts that shoot you in the air and send you flying on these cannon parts. I was testing it on these ones here, and deleting these stands and stuff like that, and the ending, it didn't help. It helped off the first one, like when I deleted this stand right here, for example, and I got shot out. I went 50% farther than I did before, but then after I came back and I did it again, I went to the regular distance again, and it kept on going the regular distance, because it's just a variable thing that happens. But let's carry on and go there. This is the cannon part right here, and since we're over here, we can start. Maybe I can show you a building one right here before we go back and test that out there and out there. So right now, this is version 0.7. The old video still work on how to build these cannons, but yeah, we can use the blueprint design right here to build your cannons if you want to build them like so. And as you can see, this is a single space version right here, and that's basically what you want to end up doing for your stuff. And you can end it off with a cannon like this to shoot yourself in the air, or a nice tube system to go back to your bases and not have to worry about falling and crashing in some random location, because it's not going to be a stable thing. It can be close, but sometimes it just might not be, and then you might have a bad day if you don't make a tube system. And then of course you have to get back, so you have to be able to get back to your base and then have another power supply type thing. It's just a lot of work, and you might as well just connect it, make a tube system to connect right away. So let's do the examples first and go with the building near the end. Yeah, because we already skipped so far. You already know the basics on how to build it. I showed you, but yeah, I think yeah. Okay, let's go there and do this. So we can go to the blueprint design here, and we can clear it, and then we can build a new one right here. So if you're going to build it with the blueprint system, and we're going to do it with a space because it's just a lot easier to build, and one space seems to be the proper way to go on this right here. So we can take this thing right here and just copy that over here, and then there. So this is the actual corner. I don't know why this grid system doesn't do that. This grid system on this, the blueprint designer should actually, put it in the far corner and have it work properly, but it doesn't. It clicks on it here. So what you do to build them is just build a structure like this, and then build two beside each other like that, like they did before. We don't use the small ones because of a lot of reasons. Where is it? Transportation is going to the right one. We don't use this basic Hypertube support thing right here to do our cannons because you'll get sucked into those things. If they're on the ground, you get sucked into them if you're walking by them, and you really don't want that. Even though this is a little bit bigger and taller, you have to jump into these. And for traveling around when you're running, as you know, this up is slide jumping, that gives you a speed boost. So that's what you're basically going to be doing traveling around. So as soon as you get those runners right here, those blade runners, you can go faster and your slide jumps. So you're traveling pretty fast across the map already as it is, but for long distances, you just want to go faster. So start off like this. Let's continue. You start off like this, have a space, and then do 2. So then we do it again. So I'm just going to build 10 because 10 is only what it's going to fit on this thing. So this one's only going to fit 10 with one space, a nice even number. So that is number 2, and then this will be the third cannon for. Oh, am I getting the math right? Yeah. I'm sorry. Bad memory. 5, 6, 7. 10. Well, I think I did my math wrong there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, that's 10. Okay, and then once we get to here, yeah, we don't need this 10th one here. This goes into the cannon part, so we delete that one right there right now. So this goes into the cannon part if we're going to make a cannon, or the entrance part. So if you're just going to do another entrance, space it 1, 2, and 3 away, so you have a little space to drop in. So this is the tube system. You just put that one right there, so you have the little space to get in there and get started on your way in. That'll be another entrance. So that would be your 10 right there, or your 11th entrance right there, or something like that. You didn't need that extra space. You could just move this one here over. If I'm trying to confuse you here, I guess you could just, if you're going to make it 10, just make it here and then do it like 3 or 4 over. That's probably 3 over. You don't want too much space. So because this one's going to get deleted, so that would be your space on your 10th one right there. But we're going to do the the cannon system right here for now. So like that. So on this one right here, we got our basic 1 space, and then let's go to the Hypertube entrance. So this is the only time we're going to use the support if you're going to make a cannon to shoot you across the map, for fun. And we'll count this spot here as number 1. So this is section 1, 2, and 3, and that's your space. That's just the minimum space. Going a little bit farther doesn't really matter for the speed and stuff like that. And then raise your support up as high as it will go, just up and down with your mouse, and then use your middle mouse wheel to actually tilt the angle. And we want 2 points of the angle. So in testing, I did it with 1 point of angle, and this shoots you off pretty far, but you don't get the distance that you get with a 45-degree angle, which is that one right there. You do get lots of distance, and you go a little bit faster in the forward direction. So if you're actually going to be using, your backpack and your other thing, you could get some good distance if you're going to use your parachute and your jetpack to, get some distance on the way down. You can test it yourself and go there, but the easiest one is just to do that, 45-degree angles. So now we're going to build the tubes for this right here. So we just switch over to the tube system right here. Tube, there we go. And it's pretty easy. So we've made these close together, so you just find the middle zone right here and just click twice. That builds a tiny tube in between them. So you just click twice in between these things right here, and you're building a tiny little tube that will shoot you out of that entrance that we're going to put in there in a second. Nice and simple. And then this last one here, of course, you want it on noodle. That's the R button if you don't remember. Just do that and have a noodle exit right there like that. So now we're going to put the entrances on. It doesn't matter, you can delete or put them on first, but it's going to be on the first one of the pair. Of the pairs, and make sure your arrows are facing the right way. If you see the green, like you can see the green sticking in there in between there, it's going the right direction. That's the right direction. So now that we got that on, we can start deleting every second one. So every second one, these are there just to make the little tube part that will shoot you out, because the hypertubes won't work unless they have actual something to shoot you out with. There we go. So all that's deleted, and then we have these little tiny little tubes that shoot you out into the next one with a single space, and then you power this thing up, and then that's pretty simple. You power it up, put your thing on there, 10 line, and that's what you get right here is this right here, 10, and then it shoots you out across the map. So right now, let's go check out the other things. Before we do, we'll do the shoot out the cannon last. We'll go back to the hub there and show you the examples of the spacing now in between them on the way back for the different directions, because, you know, this game is weird on that. We want the hypertubes to work, and we want to understand why and how. Even if we don't know why, we want to understand the mechanics on what is going to be doing it properly and stuff like that. So let's go over here and switch it up. So I'm going to just delete this. So we're not using that one there, and go back to this one here, and it's on Noodle. And this is the first one, this is the second one. So this one right here is a single space design. This was no spaces. This is a single space build, just like I did building over there to show you the example on how to build a Hypertube cannon. This one right here is just a single space, and then build your cannon across here. So single space is this what it looks like. It takes a lot of space. There's a lot more space. The same number hitting this side going right here. We'll turn this sucker on. We should turn this one off for now, just in case. But yeah, this one is on, this one's the one that's working, and we're going to slide jump into this one here and see how fast we go. And we can tell that's a big difference from before, right? This is how fast you want to go. A big difference. We got to our little hub over here just as fast as we got there, and it didn't work with the no spaces and with the single space. It worked pretty good. So let's go back and do it again with a double space, because I did the double space to test it out for one thing, and then we want to test it out and see what the difference is, if anything, for the speed differences. And this might matter. It doesn't matter for me, but it might matter. It might matter for you because of your different FPS thing that you want to have your set on. And it's your setting, so you can have it at 60 or 120 or whatever your computer can handle, type of a thing. Obviously, mine can't handle even 30. But yeah, it all depends. This is a double space, so just building your thing, you just leave 2 spaces in your support system right here. So it's the same design. It's a little space like this to build it, and then it's just 2 spaces, and then you do it again. And that's what this one here is. It all depends, because if you have a faster system, you might need more spaces that's the way you want to play it, because it needs time to register to go in the next one. And it's like a reversed thing for the FPS. The lower your FPS, the more time your computer has to actually register these connections. And if you have the bigger spaces, then you'll have, if you're going faster, that it will help. It won't matter that way. That's what I'm thinking. Like I know for sure I don't, but that is just what the evidence, because people say that, hey, my Hypertube cannons don't work. They're close together, their FPS is high, type of thing. They don't change it. But yeah, if you have to run like on a bad computer, like I do all the time, you have to worry about your FPS and stuff like that. Since your eyes can only see 60 anyways, it doesn't matter going over 60 for all that refresh rate. So let's go through here, and we take a little bit longer going through. It's about the same speed. This is the same speed as a single space and double space. So there's no difference for me for going this direction. So for going south, there's no difference in the direction. So single space seems to be the way to go. Build your system like this right here, and you'll be good to go. So it's just a single space would be the best thing. Put it on your blueprint and save it. Blueprints can be handy. They're really, I don't know if you need any demonstration of how to use a blueprint designer, because it's just right here. This is your new blueprint. You just type in the name, your description, change your icon to whatever you want, the type of a thing. And then once you have it done, you can go to your blueprints tab right here and then load it up. And I don't have very much. I got like a thing with screws because they're a pain in the ass to do, and then just different cannons and cable setups for different things right there. Try to do a fuel plant. They're too big. That's why I don't like the blueprints so much for that, because and they don't even stack properly. They don't line up yet. Maybe he'll fix that. But when you're setting out a blueprint, let's just do a cannon right here, and 10 with 1 space right here. So if you're putting a cannon here, I don't have any resources to build it. But yeah. When you're putting out there, see the bottom part is all funky, but it doesn't line up. You hold the control button to line stuff up. It doesn't line up properly. You're going to have to see from far away and fly above. So that's what I was trying to do with the power systems, because if I want to set things right there, it doesn't work too good. But yeah, you can do other designs. I'll do that as something else in blueprints. Maybe, I don't know what else you could do. I could show you the tight on blue and thing. But let's go ahead and take this shot right here. Let's do the one with 10 right now. So this one here was 11. So let's just do the basic 10 cannon and show you that. So I'll just turn that one off for power. I just don't have any switches here for that. Let's just hook it up. There you go. This is hooked up. This is a 10 cannon. And now we're going to demonstrate the 2 different things to use. We're going to do the parachute or the backpack, the jetpack, sorry, to go on. So let's switch to the jetpack, the parachutes first. Now let's do the jetpacks first, because the parachutes will go far away. We'll end it at the parachutes, and because then the jetpack, we don't want to use parachutes too much, because the parachutes going through the hypertubes, there is a bug with the parachutes. They will use your parachutes up randomly. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. It could be just me, but sometimes going through these hypertube systems, it will use your parachutes on you, and then you can, and it could be bad. Like, if you go through 10, you might use all 10 of them up, or it might not. It might go through the whole system 10 times and not use one extra one up at all. It's very random, and it's just a weird bug, but so so let's slide jump into here and get going. So we'll just shoot up in the air, 45-degree angle one. It shoots you up above the cloud line eventually, and you can't use your jetpack and stuff until you actually, you can use your jetpack, but that'll slow you down. As soon as you're falling, you can use your thing, and I'm going to land right about here unless I use a jetpack or the parachute. But yeah, so I'm going to start hitting my jetpack to tap it, and you get extra distance, and I'm not moving forward. Now I'm pressing backwards because I want to land here. There we go, and safe landing. That's a lot faster than using a parachute to actually descend and stuff like that, because you could always just take your parachute off manually mid-air when you get close to the area where you want to use your jetpack, but that's more inventory stuff that we don't want to really bother with. So let's go back there and show you what you can do with the parachute, because that could be fun. And of course, you get the parachutes first before you actually get the jetpack, and you might be using that. But yeah, so let's use that for an example. We'll stick it on there if I can get through the leg. There we go. And we'll go on there. And of course, you can't use the parachute, like I said, until you're actually falling down. I can't use it right now. I can try. It just won't work. But once you click your parachute, you can go in the different directions once you start falling. There you go. I started falling a little bit, and now you can glide. So even a 10 cannon, it takes like a 13 cannon to get over to that side of the map if I'm not pressing any buttons and stuff like that. But right now you can see I am super far, and the travel speed is okay, and I can start turning. So the parachute is pretty good that you can start turning and going around to wherever you want. I'm going to land over here by this little base right here because I got a Hypertube Cannon system right here, type of thing, and then I can hit the brakes. So I'm hitting the brakes, and as you notice, this land isn't loading up very fast, because if you're going super fast on these cannons and stuff like that, and you can glide, this is good for scouting and stuff like that if you really want to. But yeah, falling down, this sucks. So some of this land that doesn't load, you will fall through the ground and die. So this right here, it doesn't look like it's loaded fully. You'll fall through that and fall down underneath the map and then fall down and die, which really sucks. Unless you're really at the end of the map over there where there's lots of water. If you land in water, you're good. You're okay. And then you could just swim around until the land actually loads up if you're having that kind of issue. But yeah, once we're here, the falling down is too slow. So we wanted to go fast. This isn't fast. You could disengage it, but we can switch over to the jetpack and then fall. And the parachute goes away. And then we can just jetpack down there to our little base over here and land. So yeah, the parachute is really good for going all around the map to different locations, but the downside is if you don't have a great computer, your land might not load up fast enough, and then you'll land and fall through the ground and die. But if you're just going to like a place where there's water and you know where that is, and you can position yourself into a water spot, you can get lucky and not fall through the map and die, and then just wait for your land to load and then jump in the water type of a deal to get up there, and you'll be okay. So yeah, that's it for Hypertube Cannons and how they work, and using different things like parachutes and not for an example. So the best one way I find to learn stuff is actually just doing it by an example. So hopefully that's helped you out and you learned everything you need to know about the Hypertube Cannons, the spacing, make sure your FPS is good, and stuff like that. Maybe I should do a video on the power supply thing right there. That would be neat. But anyways, let's just go back to base here and end it. Yeah, so that is it for the Hypertube Cannons. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.